sister named Courtney and a brother named Robert.
Oh my gosh.
Is that not the weirdest?
Funny.
We have the same life except totally different.
I mean, you're way smarter than me, but it's okay.
You have a few more followers than me.
It's fine. We can trade if you want.
I think your cues tell others how to treat you. We are sending hundreds, if not thousands, of signals every day with our facial expressions, our voice tone, our gestures, our posture, but most people don't know what they're sending. Contempt is the only micro-expression or emotion that doesn't go away. Don't accidentally show contempt in your profile pictures because it's actually showing a little bit of scorn or disdain. Do we have to go check your profile pictures?
No,
I haven't looked
I'm
recently.
Smiling. We have to change mine. Just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I should have checked.
How does one fall for the cult? Like, I'm so intrigued.
And it's usually, by the way, like smart women.
That's what I'm saying. They're all very, very smart.
It's a problem. Why do you think I'm doing this?
And if there was a hot cult leader, I might be in that cult.
No, I will not let you.
Cancel.
I'm moving on.
Vanessa, I'm so happy to have you on Khloé and Wonderland.
I'm so happy to be here.
I feel like I could chat with you forever. We've already been chit-chatting. Yes. I'm so excited to have you here because I meet so many people, and I will say that I meet more socially awkward people than I do less. I feel like everything that you research and everything that you're teaching, it's like, so I love doing podcasts that people can have takeaways.
Yes.
And this one with you, in my opinion, is genuinely something that I feel is maybe the most important because anyone, any gender, any age should know about these cues and how, I don't want to say how to act, but either how to.
I think your cues tell others how to treat you. And so if you are not sending the right cues, people treat you wrong. And so I think everyone, I wish we were taught this in school. We are not.
Right.
We're taught, there's a lot of focus on book smarts and getting test scores and IQ and P, but I actually think that interpersonal intelligence, knowing how to show up as likable, knowing how to show up as credible, knowing how to be assertive and still be liked, and being able to tell people this is exactly how I want to be treated, but knowing what to do with your body, your voice, your face. We are sending hundreds, if not thousands of signals every day with our facial expressions, our voice tone, our gestures, our posture, but most people don't know what they're sending.
And I find that so fascinating. I feel like with me, I was definitely one of those people. I have not a relatable story, but because I've been on TV for so long, I was able to see myself, and it was very much as if I was holding a mirror up to me all day long, and I would be like, ew, who is this person? Or I didn't know I sounded like that. Or why was I talking to my mom in that tone? But in a way, I really appreciated it because I didn't like that version of me. There's some people that see that version of themselves and they are okay with it or love it. I was not so thrilled with myself in some of those instances.
You just did a disgust micro-expression. So I don't know. So when we crinkle our nose up, it's like this kind of like, ugh, I'm grossed out, disgusted.
I'm just happy my face still moves. Okay.
We can't do eyebrow raises.
No,
those are too hard.
Can't do an eyebrow raise.
But disgust we can still do, unless we Botox our nose.
No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay, not yet. So disgust is a really interesting one. It was interesting as you were talking about seeing yourself, you showed disgust. Like you didn't like what you saw. And what's important about that is I think actually everyone feels that way, or most people feel that way. And that's why we're so shocked when we see ourselves on video, or we're so shocked when we hear ourselves, a recording of ourselves. So I have one actually takeaway that I think everyone should do. Everyone should know their nervous tells. Everyone should know what they look like when they're feeling uncomfortable or nervous so that you know how you're coming across. So it's a very simple exercise I have everyone do. You can do it privately. You don't have to show anyone. Okay. So pull up your phone. And I want you to record yourself as if you're talking to me. So pretend you're talking to me. And tell me first what you had for breakfast yesterday. You don't have to actually do this if you don't want to. What you're looking at is what you look like when you're recalling something truthful. That's the very first thing. And that's a baseline for lie detection, which we can talk about.
Right.
The next thing I want you to do is I want you to tell me your most embarrassing story. Tell it to me and relive it. What does your body do? What does your voice do? What does your face do? This is how you look when someone says something to you in a meeting, on a date that makes you uncomfortable. And you should know your giveaways. And the last one is, if you want to, your lying tells. I think everyone should know what they do when they lie or when they're feeling guilty. So then I want you to make up an embarrassing story that did not happen to you and tell it to me like the camera, like you're trying to convince me of it. you'll see you're going to do things that you don't normally do that are your lying tells, your giveaways.
Do we want people to master the art of lying? Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm trading myself, okay, I gulp before I say something if it's a lie.
I want you to know, sometimes we don't always know when we're lying to ourselves. In our lab, we do a bunch of lie detection research, and we have people come in, we have them do 2 truths and a lie, fun game. And we then code the lies to look for the differences. So one of the biggest giveaways for a lie is people use the question inflection. So they go up at the end of their sentence.
Right.
Like they're asking.
Yes.
Yeah. So they'll say, here's mine. I live in Austin, Texas. I love dogs. I love cilantro. I don't like cilantro. Right. I asked it. Okay.
Who does?
So, right?
I do not like cilantro.
Yeah, no, me too. So I don't like cilantro. So I ask it. Okay. Let's say that you're on a date and someone's like, I would love to go out with you again. And you go, yeah? You don't want to go.
No.
You don't want to go. And I think that sometimes, especially as women, we don't want to tell ourselves the truth. And that ambivalence, being ambivalent about a friend or a person, hearing yourself be like, whoa, I just did it. Maybe like there's a question here. I think that is such good honesty for yourself.
Yes, I agree. Do you think that because you were doing this before the social media craze, that there's a difference in the way that people now sort of micromanage themselves in terms of their cadence or what they're trying to portray to people? Like it's not as sincere.
Yes. I think you hit on it. Sincerity is the word I would give, because now all of a sudden we are almost on our own TV shows. So I think that maybe for the first 10 years of your career, we couldn't relate. But now, I think people are watching themselves on video quite a lot.
Right.
And it's very curated because they can curate with filters or how they look. And so I think what's happening is people want that effect in real life as well. And if they can't get it, they won't do it. And so what I'm hearing more and more is people have this feeling of loneliness or lack of depth with their friendships or their relationships, or they have trouble going from date to soulmate or acquaintance to best friend, because that leap requires authenticity.
Right.
It requires sincerity. And
real connection.
And real connection, and not muting our cues. So this is the other thing that is a big misconception, is sometimes I think people think, so there are 97 different cues that we send. And so I think we think, well, I don't know what cues to send, so I'm going to completely mute. I'm not going to send any cues at all. When we don't send enough cues, it makes other people nervous.
Right.
If we can't read your face or read your body, we're like, uh-oh, and we automatically think it's about us. Especially me, I'm a recovering awkward person, right? I think everyone hates me all the time. I always think people are angry at me, right?
Aww.
And that's why I got into this work actually, is I would leave a party and I'd be like, oh, everyone hates me. And my husband would be like, what?
Right. Why do you think that?
And there's a certain portion of the population, we are high neurotic, and we misinterpret neutral expressions as negative. So I think a lot of misinterpretations are happening because of social media, because we see someone portrayed a certain way, then we get in person or even on video, and we realize, oh my gosh, I can't read them, or they're trying to mute or under signal, and it's causing all these disruptions in our relationships. I know exactly what to do now, and I can trust my radar, if you would call it, my cue reading ability, that I won't misinterpret. So I felt so much better once I learned how to read faces. I wasn't misinterpreting them anymore. I knew that disgust is an interesting one, because it comes up when people are either lying or they're trying to hide the truth. So I might ask someone, so what do you think of the new girl? Oh yeah, she's great. Right. And I'm like, right. It's okay. You can tell me the truth. You
giving
can see
it away,
right.
the middle part of your face.
Exactly. So now that I know that, I'm not worried that I'm going to miss the cue. And so I'm much less awkward, because I know that I can see it. I'm not confused by it.
Right.
And so I feel like every cue that you learn, you become more confident and less awkward. For other recovering awkward people, you're not a recovering awkward person.
No, I don't think so. But I'm someone who I consider myself like an ambivert.
Me too.
Ambivert.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's how you feel, then you would know. People think I'm so extroverted, but I just know when to give it, when I need to give it. I sort of mentally psych myself up.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not an introvert.
Right.
I'm vulnerable. I share myself. I feel like I'm full transparency, but I know I definitely need time to recharge afterwards. I'm not someone that can just jump from group to group of people.
And most people are ambiverts. We actually studied this. So there's very few true extroverts and true introverts. By the way, if you are curious where you are,
right,
here's the question you can do for yourself or anyone else. Do you want to go to Vegas? So an extrovert is like, yeah, let's go pack my bags, right? Introvert is like, I'll watch a show about Vegas on my couch with you, right? And an ambivert is like, well, what are we going to do?
Yes.
How are we going to get there?
Yes.
Like, can I have a little bit of time to pack my bags? Right? Like, that's in between. That's their litmus test. That's how you know.
No, that's the best test. That really is.
Yeah.
Speaking about the 97 cues, I'm not trying to say that one is more important than the other, but what would you say would be the 5 strongest that someone should
most helpful?
Most helpful.
Yes. It's hard. It's like picking a favorite child.
I know.
It's so hard. Okay. So the first one that I love to talk about is in anything that is incongruent. And I'll give you a specific one, which is in Western cultures, when we say yes, we nod like this. And we say no, we nod like this. You always want to look for leaks where something does not match. So in lie detection, we notice that when people don't feel a certain way, their nod will give them away. So like if I say to my daughter, did you take the cookie? And she's like, yeah. Right? And she shakes her head no. I know that was a leak. And that's because we often practice our words, but not our nonverbal. So like right now you're nodding and it makes me feel so good because a slow triple nod is tell me more, tell me more. But if I were to sit like this while you were talking,
right, I would stop talking. Right. Why is she telling me no?
So the nod is really important for you as a speaker because it helps you bold or emphasize your words. If you're pitching, presenting in an interview, in a negotiation, and you want to highlight what you're saying, a nod actually is like a nonverbal highlight. You can say, I really, really believe this. And the other person's like, wow, she really believes it. And you also want to watch for incongruency. So if someone says, I think it's great. They don't.
Right.
They don't. Right. And so I'm all for radical honesty in relationships. And you can say, I watched Khloé and Vanessa and you just did a nod that was not right. You can just tell me the truth.
Right.
Like I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And so watching for that, that's a really powerful one. The second one I would say is a facial expression. And luckily, Botox doesn't affect it. Yay! We can still see it, which is contempt. So a microexpression is a universal facial expression. They're across genders and cultures and races. And they're made when we feel like in a very intense emotion. They've discovered 7. They're a little bit hotly debated in the research community, but the one that I think the most helpful is contempt, which is a one-sided mouth raise. So kind of a smirk. So if you try it, it'll actually make you feel kind of better than.
Can I do it?
Like you did it. You're doing it. Yeah.
Like
you got it.
Does it move that way? Okay.
You got it. It's a kind of scorn, disdain, better than. Why it's so powerful is what Dr. John Gottman is a marriage and family counselor. He wanted to know how to predict divorce. So he did a massive study where he brought thousands of couples into his lab and he studied everything he could think of. He interviewed them. He looked at their history, their health. He videotaped them in interviews and in bed and breakfast settings looking for patterns.
Oh, wow.
Then he followed these couples for 30 years.
What?
One of the biggest marriage experiments ever done. He found there was one single predictor of divorce.
What is it?
That is so powerful that he can watch a silent video of a couple and tell you with 93.6% accuracy if that couple will get divorced.
Stop. What is that?
If one member of the couple shows contempt towards the other. What he found was there was couples that many couples stayed together and they did not show contempt in that initial intake interview. But 93.6% of couples, if one member showed
just in the initial interview. Got it. Okay.
Like
in
he
the
can
intake interview.
Yes. So when I'm always asked by friends, like, come meet my guy, which I love to do. I mean, it makes me feel needed, right?
Right.
And what I'm looking for is that. Wow. And that is because contempt is the only microexpression or emotion that doesn't go away.
Wow.
Happiness comes in a burst and then it settles. Anger comes, then you calm down. Fear comes and you get less nervous. But not contempt. If you feel better than someone else, that disrespect, if it's not addressed, it festers and it grows into, I hate you. That's why at an end of a marriage, a bad marriage, people won't even look at each other. And so contempt is so powerful. One is you need to make sure that you are not accidentally seeing it on your partner, your teammate, your friend's face. When you see it, I want you to immediately say, hey, are we good? What's happening here? Because you don't know what it's for.
Right.
Like that contempt can be towards you. It could be towards something like their own internal monologue. It could be something outside. Immediately addressing the contempt diffuses it. The moment you can spot that smirk and say, hey, we're on the same page here. I want to be against that contempt. You fix it.
That is so fascinating.
And check your profile pictures. Check your profile pictures.
Yes.
Don't accidentally show contempt in your profile pictures because it's actually showing a little bit of scorn or disdain. Do we have to go check your profile pictures?
No,
I haven't looked
I'm
recently.
smiling.
Okay, good. I would rather, by the way, neutral or smile, but nothing in between. So no asymmetry on the face and also not a fake smile, right? So like a fake smile, the only...
Oh, you can tell when I'm fake smiling.
Okay, good. So because it's only the only definition of a real smile is when the smile reaches all the way up into these crow's feet. Yeah. And so when someone's like,
yes,
I'm so happy to be here. Right? Like not good.
No, not good.
Yeah.
Because you're so blank in the eyes, you don't really mean it.
Yes. And so go check your profile pictures for contempt, asymmetry. And then there's one other thing. If you're checking profile pictures, my least favorite pose in the history of all of humanity is this one on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you. When they go like this.
That is very commercial.
It's horrible.
No.
It's horrible. It's all the wrong body language.
Yes.
Right? Like you're angled away. So we like when the body is angled right towards someone. Right. And
like
there's
very headshotty I don't know.
No more.
No
and so
more.
no contempt, no over the shoulder. I love a hand in
we
a
have
photo.
to change mine. Just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I should have checked. I should have checked.
Would you die if I was like, well, mine are all the above, but it's not. Don't worry.
I would tell you.
Yeah, no. And I
would tell you.
I've
gotten in trouble. I can tell you, this is crazy. I got in trouble for not sharing. So one of my friends had a guy and my whole crew met him and they all loved him. Oh, the group tasks was ablaze with hearts and fires and gifts. And I was away for the meeting. So I was like, dang it. So I met him later and I was expecting something great. And I met him, girl, I saw so many red flags.
No.
And I didn't know what to do because all my friends loved him.
Right.
And my friend was falling in love with him.
Oh, no.
So I didn't say anything. Turns out, a couple months later, he was completely scamming her. Fake background, fake job, fake everything. And thank goodness she figured it out. But never again will I not say anything. So if you had a bad profile picture, I would tell you.
And I was just thinking, then when I get a boyfriend, I'm
you
bringing
just
him
text me.
to you.
Yeah, just text me pictures. Well, I'll like be like behind a bush.
So is all you need is a photo or you need to meet someone?
Well, I can tell a lot from a video.
Okay.
Because remember, silent videos
Because I
tell
think
you a
I'm
lot.
really going to do this.
Yeah, no, text me. Yes, we need to make sure.
Yes.
I also like my friend is so smart. Like she's so cool, so smart. She has good intuition. So I was like really surprised that she didn't pick up on it. I realized it was the language of cues, which goes back to what you said at the beginning. If we are armed with these cues, we know what to look for. We can get right to the truth, which is the goal.
When was the last time that you knew you should probably see a doctor, but you didn't? Maybe you said, I'm too busy, or it'll go away on its own. Or the classic, I don't even know which doctor to go to. Yep, we've all made those excuses. Honestly, booking a doctor's appointment can feel like such a chore, but it really doesn't have to be. Finding the right doctor shouldn't feel like online dating. Endless searching, bad options, and way too many red flags. It's time to stop spiraling and actually see a real doctor. That's where ZocDoc comes in and makes life so much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and, this is the best part, instantly book an appointment. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are close by, fit your needs, and are actually loved by real patients. Once you find the right doc, you can view their real-time availability, pick a time that works for you, and book it right then and there. Most appointments happen within 24 to 72 hours, some even the same day. I recently had a dental emergency, and I was able to see a provider right down the street from my office within 5 hours, thanks to ZocDoc. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Go to ZocDoc.com/Khloe to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Khloe. One more time, ZocDoc.com/Khloe. This episode is brought to you by Opill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the US. That's right, no prescription needed. Here's the thing. About a third of women face barriers to accessing prescription birth control. Whether it's the hassle of just getting an appointment, taking the time off of work or school, dealing with insurance, or just carrying the constant mental load, it adds up. And honestly, it's something that people have had to deal with for far too long. But now, Opill is changing that. It's empowering women by putting birth control in your control. For the first time, you don't need to ask permission, don't need health insurance, and don't need anybody's opinion to take the daily birth control pill. Opill is FDA approved, full prescription strength, estrogen-free, and again, no prescription is required. You can find it online or at most major retailers. And as someone who's seen friends and family struggle just to stay consistent with their reproductive health options, I have to say that this is huge. The ease, the access, the autonomy, it's a real win. Opill is the birth control in your control. And you can use code Khloe for 25% off your first month at Opill at opill.com. That's code Khloe at OPILL.com. Check out Opill to see if it's right for you. Ladies, let's have some real talk. We all dream of thick, shiny, shampoo commercial hair, right? The kind you flip over your shoulder in slow motion as it glistens in the sun. But instead, you're standing in the shower like, why does it look like I'm shedding for winter? Yes, been there, and so have my drains. If your ponytail's looking a little sad lately, or your scalp is becoming more visible than you'd like, don't panic. Hers Hair is here to help you fight back with actual science, not just hope and overpriced serums. Hers offers legit prescription-strength hair treatments made with doctor-trusted ingredients, the kind that most of the random stuff you grabbed off a drugstore shelf does not have. And they've got options for everyone. Oral treatments, topical solutions, even ones with added hair vitamins if you want to go full overachiever. The process is super easy. You just take an online hair quiz and boom, you're matched with a licensed provider to create your personalized treatment plan. The best part? It's all online. No doctor's visits, no pharmacy lines, no insurance hassles. Treatments start at just $35 a month, and you could see results in as little as 3 to 6 months. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/Khloe. That's forhers.com/Khloe for your personalized hair loss treatment options. forhers.com/Khloe. Individual results may vary. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Do you feel like you have good intuition on people?
I feel like I do,
Yeah.
but I've also been wrong about people, know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do more so when it's not romantic because I'm not blinded by other things.
Yes. And that's I think what was happening. And like I think wishful thinking is like very powerful and beautiful and like that's good, but we also have to know what is the body language telling us? What is even the vocal power telling us? So wait, I promised 5, right? So we did nodding, we did contempt. My next favorite one, I want to do lip pursing. So lip pursing is a universal gesture that when we are withholding something, we kind of press our lips together into that firm line. Like for example, if you ask a woman, how much do you weigh? She'll be like,
right.
Like we don't like to say.
Right.
So it's a universal gesture. I like looking for it when I always want to know when someone's holding back with me, friend or teammate or my hubby doesn't hold back anymore. He knows better. He knows better.
We could detect it all.
Time.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
And he's the most honest person I ever met. And that's why I married him. So he doesn't withhold.
What a gift you have. I'm like, this is amazing.
He has no choice.
No, he has no choice.
Yeah. So, and by the way, watch this with your partner, right? Like do this with your, like trade cues with your partner, please. So a lip purse, I think a symbol of, I need to go deeper. I need to give this person permission that I'm a safe place for them. And like, that's what we're doing as humans is we're trying to be like, you belong here. You are safe here. So if I'm talking to someone and they're like, and they press their lips together, I know what they're thinking is, should I say this? Should I say this? And I always want them to say it.
Right.
Right. It's like, it's a perfect moment to be like, you can tell me. Like, just tell me everything. And then just tell people you read body language and then they'll really tell you everything.
That's a good way to get them to tell you that because you're not waiting for them to
just be like, I watched Khloé and Vanessa's podcast and I know all the cues. I know
you're hiding something from me.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What's number 4 would you say?
I would say toe behavior. And this is kind of a weird one.
Way.
So we actually found that when we were observing people, we noticed that people tended to point their toes towards the most important person in the room or their crush.
Oh, wow.
And I love to go to an office Christmas party and try to predict
see
who has a crush
where
on
their
who.
feet are.
Yes, this makes sense, right? From a subconscious perspective, your brain is sort of on either the most important person in the room or your crush. And so your body sort of orients towards them, even if we're talking, like your feet might be towards them. So 1, you can look at this. It's very interesting to look at. But 2, it's also a good cue for you. If someone's done talking to you, they will often point their toes towards the door.
Oh,
like if they want out.
Gosh.
And by the way, if you ever want out, you also could point your toes towards the door. Subconsciously, sometimes people will pick up on it.
I am going to pay attention to this so deeply now. This is going to be a sick game.
It's also a great way to like look at people's shoes and see all kinds of things.
No, I love this. I've never thought about the foot one. That's crazy.
And we don't think about feet. And so often it gives it away. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yes.
And
yes.
now everyone's going to know about this one.
Well, I mean, now everyone's going to be like, I'm just straight ahead.
Yes.
Straight ahead.
And is it for men and women?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, last one. It's so hard to pick my favorites.
I know.
But my last one I'm going to do
So far, these
is
are great.
building on the nod is,
I'm a big nodder.
I know, I love it.
I don't know if it's bad or good. And it's all subconscious. I'm not sitting here like, I better nod right now. I sometimes hate that I do it so much, but I'm so invested in what people are saying.
I love it because it's a warmth cue. So when we talk about body language, we want to split them up into warmth cues and competence cues. When humans first meet, especially in first impressions, we are very quickly trying to gauge someone's warmth and competence. This makes up 82% of our impressions of people. So when someone first meets you, the very first question they're asking is, can I trust you? The second question is, can I rely on you? Very highly charismatic people, that's who I study. Highly charismatic people are quickly signaling, you can trust me and you can rely on me. And then we're like, oh, we like this person. That's why we like or we're drawn to certain people. So when warmth cues are the first thing I want to do. Nodding is a warmth cue, which is why we love it so much. There's something I want to note about it though. So a slow triple nod makes the other person speak 67% longer.
Okay.
They've actually tested it. So as an interviewer, it's great because you're like, keep going, tell me more. Right.
Okay.
But there's a difference between a slow nod and a fast nod. A slow nod is engagement and warmth. A fast nod is impatience. So look at the difference. This is versus
Right. It is so fascinating.
If you want someone to just wrap it up, like they're like, and they get it. They're like, oh, okay, I got to hurry it up and wrap it up. It's like so interesting, like that subtle little difference.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I also tend to, I think, like squint.
You do a lower lid flex.
Right. What does that mean?
Yes. Okay. So some of your amazing cues. So you nod. And by the way, you mentioned too much. There is such a thing as bobbleheading. I don't think you do it. I don't think you do it. You know,
I love that
when you
prolific term.
Right. When you just feel yourself, just like
Yes.
you're like, no. So I'm a recovering bobbleheader.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to come out.
Yes. You're safe here.
I'm a recovering bobbleheader.
You are
And
safe
it was
here.
my New Year's resolution 2 years ago to stop bobbleheading.
No way.
Yes, because too much warmth takes away from your competence. So we talk about the balance of these cues. If we send too much warmth, our credibility goes down. So highly warm folks are seen as likable and friendly, but people interrupt them. People don't take them seriously. People push back on them. They can't raise their rates or get a raise. Too warm. When we have a lot of warmth, it decreases our competence. Now, the other hand is there are some folks who are very high in competence, signaling high competence. If you're high in competence, people take you seriously, think you're in charge, think you're capable, but they don't like you. They think you're a bad collaborator. They don't open up to you. And so those are both, challenges.
Right.
And so if you are bobbleheading, you are too high in warmth. And it means that people will not take you as seriously. So you want to nod purposely. Like you're nodding when you agree with me, I hope.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're not nodding by default. I was doing it all the time, which took away from my credibility. So if this is you, if you're a bobbleheader, I have a trick for you. Which
Say
is,
it. Yes.
you just need to replace it with the head tilt. Because it's impossible to do both at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like I look crazy.
Yeah. Right. It's not a good
So
look.
that's what I would do. Right. It's weird. So I'm on video a lot, right? So like
Right.
I have to be careful. So that's what I would do. I'd be like, right. And it's still warm, but it's okay. Like it still works. This is my awkwardness, right? I had to just replace it. So that's you if you're an overnodder. So competence, on the other hand, I just want to talk about competence for a second. Competence comes from stillness, comes from eye contact, and it comes from hand gestures. So
Big hand talker.
I'm a big hand talker too. It's why I
Yes.
always have to have my nails done, which, right?
Same. I try to hold my hands sometimes to stop using them so much,
Yes.
just to calm down a little bit.
Yes, because it's a spectrum, right? Like same with nodding. So that shows me that you have a lot of warmth, but you need to
Calm down.
Yeah, calm down. High competence.
Right.
We would say high competence.
Okay,
That's what
high
we say in the
competence.
research. Yeah. Because gestures, I mentioned earlier in your profile picture, I love a hand gesture in a pose. And that is because I think our hands are like the windows to the soul. We tend to look at hands for trust. And that's because if we can't see someone's hands, we wonder what's their intention. We also look to hands for comprehension. So if I were to say to you, today I have a really big idea. For those who are listening, I'm holding up a very little thing.
Yes.
You'd be like, but Vanessa, it's so small. And that is because your brain gives 12.5 times more weight to my gestures.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because liars don't practice their gestures. So the reason we like a gesture is because we know it's very hard to lie with our gesture. So if someone says like, we'll do an experiment. Want to do an experiment? Okay,
Yes.
so I want you to say 5, but hold up 3. Okay, ready? 5. Horrible hard.
Yes,
right?
because you have to think about both
Right.
separately.
And it's really hard to lie with our hands. So the reason why this is important is because we are looking to gesture for truth. So if I say I have a really big idea and I hold it like it's beach ball big, you're like, well, it does look big.
Right.
That is a big one, right? But if I'm like, I have 3 ideas, you're like, well, there's 3. And by the way, if you don't want people to interrupt you, say I have 3 things I want to talk about today. Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Right.
Because we're trusting, oh, well, she has 3. She better
Right.
get through all 3. So we look for very highly competent people, the best speakers, the best TED talkers. They use purposeful gestures. They show visible hands. So they always like start with a palm showing, and then they underline their concepts with their words. And so if you're presenting or you're speaking or sharing an important idea, the more you can emphasize with your gesture, not crazy movement, but emphasize, the more people are like, wow, she really knows her stuff.
It's so fascinating. And do you think, I mean, this is all just naturally done, or do you think people are paying attention if you're doing a TED Talk and they're getting these stats and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to come out waving, showing the palm of my hand. Yeah.
There's a certain portion of the population that are naturally very highly charismatic. They come out the womb with great gestures, like they are always gesturing. But most of us have learned, or they notice, wow, like, oh, a really good TED speaker, they tend to like sound and look a certain way. Like, for example, every TED Talk sort of sounds like this. Today, I want to talk about a big idea.
Yes.
I'm going to break it down into 3 areas that will change your life.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right? Like that's the TED Talk voice.
It is.
Right? And I've just cued you. Like, well, she sounds smart.
Yep.
Even though I
And
was
let's have the
saying
3
anything.
ideas.
We better hear those
Yep.
3 ideas that are going to change my life. What are they? And so that vocal tone told you that I had high competence. And so yes, there's a portion of it that's natural, but I actually think that what's holding most of us back is we are warm and we are competent, but we don't know how to signal it. So the curse of very smart people, and most of my students are high achieving, super talented, whippet smart, but they don't know how to showcase their idea. They don't know how to present in front of a room. They don't know how to pick a guy. They don't know how to turn a casual friend into a best friend because they don't know how to signal, I really want this warmth, but also take me seriously, like likability and credibility. So I wish a lot of it was natural, but I actually think that we can learn it. People skills, body language, it's a skill like math or science. I think that the longer we can keep our kids off their devices so that they have to figure out, oh, it's awkward if I don't make eye contact.
Right.
Oh, that moment of do we handshake or hug or high five is really awkward. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to signal clearly. I teach my kids 3 body language things. So if you have any kids in your life, teach them these 3 things. First is try to notice someone's eye color. If you tell a kid to make eye contact, at least like I have, 7-year-olds and a 2.5-year-old, they're like, what?
Right.
Like they don't. But if you're like, what was their eye color? It gives them a reason to make eye contact. And then you
That's a
explain to
good
them,
one.
when you make eye contact, you notice their eye color, it shows that you want to know them. Okay, so notice their eye color and try to show them that you like them. Second, hands first. So always approach with your hand out.
Yes.
So you're clearly signaling the greeting that you want, especially for little kids who maybe they don't want a handshake. Maybe they want a high five. Maybe they want a fist bump. Maybe they just want
Right.
to wave. I want them to know that they can be in control of how they want to be greeted and that hand gestures are very important. So like
Yes.
visible hands. And the last one, this is so important for littles, is weird, but I tell them, imagine like you're wearing a cape. A superhero, when they wear a cape, they roll their shoulders back. They have their chin held up high. I want to maximize the distance between your ear and your shoulder. And kids are always like, really? Why? When kids get nervous, they
Yes.
tend to take up as little space as possible. Even like I see adults will say hi on Zoom like this, hi.
Right.
And that destroys your credibility.
Right.
Right. So I say to my daughter, I have 2 daughters. So I say, maximize this with your ear and your shoulder. Stand like you're wearing a cape. When you take up space, people pay attention to you. When you take up space, people take you seriously and they believe you. And that's a really important gift we can give them early on. And us too, right? Like I also, when I'm in video, on photos, in person, I'm trying to maximize this weird distance.
Right. No, those are, I love all these takeaways because like I said, I don't care your age, your gender, what you do. I think all of this is so helpful for work, for
Yeah.
friends, friendship circles, any of that. Do you notice male versus female? Do some struggle more than others, or?
So I don't think one struggles more than, they don't struggle with body language more than others, but I have noticed that there are different cues. So for example, the research actually finds this, is that women typically default to higher in warmth. This makes sense. We are often taught from a cultural perspective to be caring and nurturing and to be liked. And so we'll do anything to be liked, even if it means throwing our competence under the bus. And so women, I think, will often, in the desire to be liked, they sacrifice their need to be respected. And I want both.
Right.
So that is a struggle that more women have than men, not always, but often. Men often struggle with the opposite, where they're told they're seen as intimidating or hard to talk to or cold, and they struggle with the warmth piece, and they struggle with the emotional piece or showing the emotion piece. And so it's really important that we help men. Again, it's not always, that you can show warmth and emotion, and that doesn't mean that you're not a man. It means that you're showing warmth.
Right.
And warmth is a good thing. So I see that difference. I also see funny nonverbal cue differences. So I've noticed men maybe commenting can correct me, but men, I've noticed they do a male nod. So when men see other men, they go,
Yes.
like that. And I have a theory that men, when they see other men they know, they go, hey. And it's because they're willing to show their jugular. But if they see another man they don't know, they go, and they go down. And so there's like this kind of theory that maybe if you go like this, you're like, I see you, but you're
Right.
protecting
You're
your jugular.
protecting
But if it's the guy
yourself.
you know, you're like, look at this. I
Look at my jugular.
Look at my jugular. You know what I mean?
No offense, men, but it sounds like a very man thing
I
to
know.
do.
So I have noticed that weird difference. I also noticed that men like to have deep, intimate conversations side by side, like at a bar, like at the
Yes,
bar or
you're-
like in the car.
So right.
And like even like men will like kind of like turn away and like want to like sidle up to you to talk to you. And you're like, no, just no.
Right.
Because
Face-
women want this.
Face to face. Yes.
Yeah,
Eye
women
contact.
want this.
Yes.
And so I think that's just like a preference difference. Like maybe it's like a territorial thing. So there's like little gestures like that. Also, like, you know, the way men and women flirt is very different.
Very different.
So, you know, women subconsciously want to call attention to their health of their skin, and they often will self-touch. So like they'll self-touch their hair, they'll self-touch their lips. That's a thing that men often don't do, whereas men will try to claim space more. They want to look bigger and broader. And that's just a different way that they
It's so
peacock.
fascinating. Everything that you, like, I would be afraid to be your friend.
I mean, it's hard.
No, I mean, everyone's laughing, but I just mean because you would know
I only have 3, so it's okay.
Your 2 kids and your husband.
My 2 kids, my husband.
Oh my
That's
gosh. No, just because you would know if I was
Yeah.
at, like, could anyone throw you a surprise party?
I mean, it
No.
was learning this. So I wasn't like this growing up, right? I was very awkward. I was misreading all these cues. And I would say my 20s were really hard. That was when I was coming up with like my code of nonverbal. Like I was starting to do the research. I was starting to code these cues and break down even conversation, like what is our blueprint for how we have good conversation? And I had friends that were not truthful, or they didn't want me to be truthful with them. And that was hard. And I lost a lot of friendships. And my best friend from college, she was there, but it was really hard. And now like my circle is small. It's really tight. I have also like a public image also, which
Right.
you understand. And I want it real small and real tight. And it's great. It's amazing.
Right. I am all about quality over quantity. I think you do that when you're a teenager in your 20s. You just acquire a lot of people, but they're not always good for you.
I also think, look, ambivalence, you know, like there's those people, I don't know if you still have these people. I have some of them where like there are people you see their name on your calendar and you're like, yeah, that is very emotionally draining.
Right.
And ambivalent friendships are worse than toxic friendships, in my opinion. They studied police officers and they found that police officers who have toxic relationships are happier in their workplace than police officers who have ambivalent relationships at work.
Oh, no way.
And that is because if you don't like someone, like if you know, oh, like that friend of a friend, like not my person, you're not going to go talk to them. You're not going to go have lunch with them. There's no brain space they take up. They're not your person. But if you're like, it's my friend's best friend.
Right.
We're like, oh, that cousin of a cousin of a cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're ambivalent about them and then you're agonizing about it. And actually emotionally that takes a much bigger toll. So I would say like the clearer you can get on those people, the tighter your circle can be where they're like, heck yes about these people, the more emotionally healthy you are with those relationships.
You know that moment when the sun's out, birds are chirping, and suddenly your backyard looks kind of sad? Yep, me too. I realized that my outdoor setup was 2 plastic chairs and a decrepit folding table on its last legs. No pun intended. So I turned to Wayfair, and wow, it has been a major shopping game changer. Whether you're making a teeny tiny update like upgrading your worn out coffee table or totally overhauling your living room after being inspired by HGTV, Wayfair's got your back. Wayfair has everything for your outdoor space. I'm talking conversation sets, dining tables, hammocks, gazebos. Basically, if you've ever pointed at something and said, that would look great on my patio, Wayfair probably has it. Wayfair isn't just about furniture, though. Need help with storage? They've got you covered. They've got storage solutions that'll make your space feel bigger and better in no time. I picked up a sleek outdoor sofa and some stylish string lights. Now my patio looks like my favorite fancy rooftop bar, minus the $18 cocktails. And the best part? Fast, free delivery, even on the big stuff. No more convincing your Uber driver to haul a credenza. Whether your style is minimalist chic or maximalist jungle, Wayfair's got something that fits, and it won't destroy your budget. Plus, everything is super easy to find. It's like shopping on easy mode. So don't wait until your friends invite you over all summer. Take back your backyard. Shop a huge selection of outdoor furniture online. This summer, get outside with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. Hulu is the place to go for your favorite reality TV. Hulu gets real. You love reality TV, right? You know every star, every scandal, every tear, and every triumph. You know who else loves reality? Hulu, that's who. With shows like The Kardashians, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Gotta Get Out, Vanderpump Villa, and more, Hulu has reality TV covered. If you're into glamour and romance, things are heating up on Hulu. Catch new seasons of Project Runway and Bachelor in Paradise this summer. And coming soon, catch the all-new reality series Love Thy Nader, starring the Nader sisters. Plus, don't miss an all-new season of Love Island UK streaming only on Hulu. There's so much great reality on Hulu, it's almost too real. Next time you need your reality TV, go to Hulu. Hulu gets real.
You said you're a recovering awkward person, but do you feel that anyone that thinks that they're awkward can get over this awkward stage?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And how does one go about that?
Yes. Okay. First is I'm so excited you're watching because you're my people, right? Like recovering awkward people everywhere. Like we think that we're stuck there. We are not stuck there. There is so much we can do because one, awkwardness dresses up in certain ways. Here's what I mean by this. Awkwardness can dress up as introversion or like shutting down. I know people who are awkward and they completely shut down and they can't think straight and they go almost like numb. Awkwardness can dress up as the opposite, as showing off, as name dropping, as being over the top.
You're right.
Yeah. Awkwardness can show up as meanness, right? Or bullying. Awkwardness can show up as judgment. So there's a lot of ways that awkwardness can show up. And so first thing is identifying that you don't have to do that anymore, right? Like you might default to shutting down or judgment or being mean, and no judgment. That was a fear mechanism for you. That's the first thing. The second thing is everyone has their own flavor of charisma. You do not have to fake it till you make it. You do not have to pretend to be a bubbly extrovert to be liked.
Right.
That was the mistake I made for so long, is I thought the only way I'm going to make friends and to be liked is to pretend to be this bubbly extrovert that I'm just not.
Right.
I'm ambiverted. Okay, so then it is, what is your flavor of charisma first? Who, then where, then what? Who? It is really hard to not be awkward around ambivalent people. The reason why I want you to do this 30-day, we'll call it a cleanse, a social cleanse. Yes. Is that it's setting you up for failure. If you're with people who make you feel a little uncomfortable or a little bit of dread, it's so hard to be your best self with them. So who makes you your best self? Who makes you feel like they just bring out the funny in you, the likable in you, they appreciate you for who you are? Even if that's a very short list, that's your list. Those are your people. And so that's the first thing is only practice this with those people.
Yes.
They're going to make you charismatic. They're going to tell you where you're naturally charismatic. Second is where. And this is one people forget. So I want you to think, where do you feel your best self? Like, for example, for me, I love one-on-one conversations. I love coffees. I love going to get tacos. I love cooking with friends. I love having people over to my house and hosting a very small, like 6 to 8 people at the most. I have a lot of siblings also, so I'm used to big family get-togethers. Like, that's my spot. So I just know that about me. So where is it for you?
Right.
Find your place. And the last thing is the what. And this is the hardest thing, which is I think what's social media is having trouble with is I see all of my friends' life highlights in their reels.
Mm-hmm.
So no longer do I get the joy of, oh, I got a puppy.
I know. The mystery of life is gone.
Right. So like my friend comes over and she's like, I got a puppy. And I'm like, oh, I know.
Right.
And she's like, let me show you a picture. I'm like, oh no, I've seen them.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I named it. I'm like, I know, Tulip. Right. What a buzzkill.
Totally. And I also so much think that desensitizes us for even the excitement of things that should be that exciting and joyful and things that I would normally share. I'm like, no, because they're going to see it. And instead of me telling my friends something on my own, I'm like, oh, and not like I'm like, they'll hear about it. I just feel like, oh, there's enough information going around.
Yes.
And I really hate that. And my sisters and I, we talk about that. We used to, like, we don't even tell each other things sometimes because we get so desensitized. But I'm like, oh my gosh, Court, I heard this happened to you. It just takes away not only the mystery, but I think we aren't as excited to share things
joy
anymore. Right.
Yeah, or like I'll tell my siblings something good and they're like, heart. And I'm like, yay.
Yes.
As opposed to like a hug or high five or this. And I think we've taken the joy out of that sharing. And so I think everyone should know the 3 levels of connection and conversation. And in all of your relationships, you should be thinking about these 3 levels of connection. This is why sometimes you like don't click with certain people. It's because you're having trouble getting from level to level. Level 1 is called general traits. Occupation, family status, hometown. This is why you ask everyone, where are you from?
Right.
Oh, that part of the city? Oh, what do you do? It's because like we have to kind of know those general traits to be able to go deeper. You can't start a conversation with like, so tell me your greatest fear.
Right.
Like I would love to do that, but like we can't. It's like awkward. Yeah. I learned that the hard way. Like my awkwardness also comes with asking way too personal questions too quickly.
Oh my gosh.
That's like part of my
sort of love that from people.
Good. I've already done it today.
Okay, good.
So like we check off those traits. If you are an awkward small talk, you're probably stuck in that level where you're always like, you see that like random cousin and you're like, how's the kid?
Same old. Yes.
You're stuck there. If you want to level up with them.
I was just going to ask you, how do you level up with them?
Yes, you have to know what you're going towards. The next level is called personal concerns. This is research out of Northwestern University that basically personal concerns is values, motivations, goals, worries. You know if you're on level 2 with someone, if you could tell me what their biggest goal is right now, what worries them at night, what gets them up in the morning. Like what excites them. If you know that, you probably are on level 2 with them. If you don't know that, those are the questions you want to ask. So the questions like, working on anything exciting these days? Like instead of, I would love to go on a what do you do diet.
Yes.
I think what do you do is basically asking someone, what are you worth?
I agree. But I also think people just do it out of habit.
It's habit.
Right.
And also we're trying to check that box of level 1.
Right.
So here's a challenge. I have a challenge. May we all just pause asking, what do you do? And instead, like, don't let yourself ask it. I know it's a habit, but instead ask, working on anything exciting these days? If someone loves what they do, they will tell you.
Right.
If someone is not defined by what they do or they're ashamed of what they do, they will tell you something they actually love and excites them. And then you're getting into like the values. And then you can say, I have a little thing that I use, which is like on Mondays and Tuesdays, I always ask, did you do anything fun and exciting this past weekend? Because then like, you're known for that. Like all my teammates are all over the world. They know I'm going to ask them that on Monday or Tuesday. And so they're like, I do more fun and exciting things because I know you're going to ask me.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Which is like great, like be known for it.
Right.
So on Monday and Tuesday, I always ask, you do anything exciting this past weekend? On Thursday and Friday, I always ask, do you have any fun and exciting plans this weekend? And on Wednesdays, I don't talk to anyone. Ambivert.
I love that. Yeah.
Right. It's great. It's like a rest day.
Yeah.
So you can be known for these questions. Or like I have a friend who always asks me, what are you learning? And you can bet when I see lunch on the calendar with him, I always learn something before that lunch. Like he makes me better with that question. Also, what's your goal? What's your goal this year? How can I help? That's getting into level 2. Level 3 is for your closest people. And I only have 2 people on this level. And some people only have 1 or no people. It's called self-narrative. Your self-narrative is the story you tell yourself about yourself. It's how you make sense of your journey and purpose in the world. So it is critical to know someone's self-narrative because then you know how they think and how they're making decisions. So for example, I've noticed there's a couple, I'm researching this for my next book, which is hero, healer, and victim. I noticed those are 3 common ones. Hero's self-narrative always sound the same. I've had challenges and struggles, but with hard work and grit and resilience, I always overcome. And everything in their life is that. Whether it's work or romance or personal, they're always in that narrative. That's their self-narrative. Versus the healer is another one I've found a pattern. Healers are always of service. In fact, usually their careers are even of service. They're nurses and doctors and teachers and coaches and trainers. And their narrative is, I am here to help others. I'm here to serve the world. The issue with healers is they often say yes to too much.
Right.
They burn out. They're always putting others first.
Yes.
And so they're constantly doing it no matter what. They're always over giving. And so it's wonderful to be in a relationship with them, but they're also always over committed.
Yes.
The last one, which is really important, if this is you, this used to be my narrative until I worked to change it, and anyone can change their narrative, is a victim narrative. Starts the same as a healer. I had challenges, I had mistakes, but with grit and hard work and resilience, I wasn't able to overcome. The number one question you can ask yourself is, do you feel lucky? People who feel lucky typically have more of a hero self-narrative. People who feel unlucky or life has been against them have a victim self-narrative. And typically that repeats. Self-narratives are self-creating. If you have a victim self-narrative, you literally see the world differently. You miss more opportunities.
And how were you able to get yourself out of having the victim mentality?
So in that awkwardness, I felt like I was doing something, I was causing my own problems. I was getting in my own way. And that's a lot of victims will say like, I'm getting in my own way or I'm unlucky. And I realized that the only person who could change my life was me. If I wasn't fighting for me, no one else was going to be fighting for me. And so I had to learn how to stand up for myself. I had to learn the skills of reading body language, of knowing how to communicate. I had this dream of helping people communicate. And I was like, how do we do it? I started on YouTube in 2007. Like, no one was on YouTube in 2007.
Right.
But I was like, I have to try it. And slowly I had little micro wins. And I think this is the way you change it. If you want to change your narrative, micro wins, little tiny successes. Those little successes are evidence to yourself like, oh, maybe I can do it. And sometimes that's all we can do. It's like a little micro win.
And I love micro wins. And I don't think that people applaud themselves enough or cheer themselves on enough. I love giving myself tiny little goals that I'm trying to reach. And when I get there, I'm like, yay. Like,
Are you a to-do list writer?
I love a to-do list.
Don't you love checking off something on a to-do list?
But I am old school. I need a real piece of paper.
Absolutely. And I need a cute pen too.
Yes.
Yes.
all
I
of
also
that.
will put things on my to-do list I've already done just for the pleasure
Of
of
scratching it off.
It's like adrenaline.
Yes. No, I love that.
No,
I'm like,
I know.
okay. And then I see, I'm like, I have one left. And I get so excited.
Yes. But by the way, when to-do list, this is like such a silly productivity tip, but like this is research-based, is like doing a to-do list is great for organization, but it's actually better for winning. Like the art of making a to-do list the night before, if you want to be old school, or that morning, is literally just setting yourself up for a bunch of wins. You know, especially if you break them down into very small things, every single time you do it, your body produces dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical of excitement. It's a chemical of motivation. When you check off a win, you're more likely to win more. And what's crazy is there's this really interesting research study. They brought people into their labs. They split them up into 2 different groups. One group, they had them take a basic like intelligence test. The second, they had them do the same test, but they changed the directions very slightly, where they sprinkled in achievement-oriented words. Those are words like success, achieve, master. They wanted to know if you prime someone or cue them with win words, do you think more like a winner? And that is exactly what happened.
Yes.
Even 3 or 4 win words made them perform better on the task, made them spend double the amount of time working on the task, and helped them enjoy the task more. So when you're doing that to-do list, you're checking it off and you get this flood of dopamine, which makes you feel like a winner, which makes you think like a winner, which makes you do even better on the next task. I also very strongly believe in a not to-do list. Do you have a not to-do list?
No.
So
Like don't do certain things?
Don't do those things.
No.
Yes. So a not to-do list is all the things you know don't serve you. They're the things like you know that you should not be doing it because they usually cause you cortisol or adrenaline in a bad way. So like I might have on my list, do not check social media.
Okay.
Like that would be on my not to do list. Or I will not be in my inbox during my golden hour. You know, like a golden hour is like your most creative time. So like you can actually also have a not to do list.
Wow.
And you get to check it off if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
all
yes.
the lists. Is this an excuse for me to have more lists? Maybe.
And I'm a color-coded type of list. Like I love a good color-coded system.
By the way, you just did a lower lid flex and I forgot
What
to
is
explain
that?
it.
Oh, my
You asked
squint.
to squinting.
Yes.
You asked and you just did it and I forgot to explain it. Okay.
Oh gosh.
So a lower lid, no, it's so good. It's competence. This is, I see I tangented and we're all the way back around. Okay, so a lower lid flex. When I'm trying to see something far away, I flex my lower lid because actually what it does from an anatomical perspective is I'm blocking out light. And when we block out light, it means I can see more details. So we know this is a universal cue, as if someone hardens their lower lid, you just know that I went from listening to scrutinizing. Right? Like, so if I'm like this, I don't do it very often. You do it a lot. Is like if I'm going, I just look a little bit more skeptical, or like I'm really trying to deeply listen or deeply understand.
Because I don't think I'm questioning or scrutinizing you.
You're
So-
deeply listening.
Right.
Right. So it's not a positive nor a negative cue. That's why this is a very interesting one, is it's high competence. It shows deep listening. And here's what the crazy thing is. I think I was looking at people's sexiest men alive, like for research.
Yeah.
And I noticed that like almost every man is doing it. Like he's like this.
Wow. Well, that's
Like
the
they- oh,
Zoolander.
Zoolander. It's blue steel, right? It's like-
Yes.
Why? Is because we love a man who is deeply listening to us.
Don't we?
So the reason why all the hot men, I think they've learned it, is they know that it's sexy to see a man who's lower lid flexing because we're like, oh, he's deeply listening
Yes,
to me.
he's in our soul.
So it's a very high competence cue. It's good as an interviewer because it balances out your nods, right? It's a great natural balance. And you can do it when you're speaking to show that you're deeply listening to someone. You also can watch for it to see, oh, this is a point that they're really trying to understand. I was giving a presentation to like a C-suite group of people, and I noticed that the CEO kind of lower lid flexed when I was talking about oxytocin. Oxytocin is the chemical of connection, very simplified, that like when we hug or touch, we produce oxytocin, and that makes us feel the warm and fuzzies. We also get it with eye contact. We also get it with mutual laughter, and it makes us feel, this person gets me. We love it. So I was talking about it in the presentation, and I could see him, and I said, does that make sense? And he goes, but doesn't it put you in labor? Because he remembered that his wife had gotten Pitocin, a form of oxytocin, to go into labor. And I was like, yes. Afterwards, he said to me, I immediately felt heard. Like I felt like that didn't like catch me up because you addressed it. And I got so much work with that company after that because he just felt like I got them. So you can notice it of like, are we good here? But also I became a better teacher. Because I realized that it was confusing if I didn't say it does a lot of things in our body.
Right.
It's complicated.
I just want to make sure, because I don't know I'm doing it. Like
Yeah.
I notice it from watching
Yeah.
the podcast, and I'm like, why am I doing that? I am
You're
not
deeply listening.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but does that scare someone? Like,
No, I know
the
that you are
interviewer?
paying attention. Like,
Okay.
I know that you are deeply paying attention. Now, context is important here. Like if I were to be like your girlfriend and we're sitting together and I'm like, I'm going to teach my kid how to go skydiving. And you'd be like,
right.
then I would know that you're feeling like a little skeptical. So you can actually use it as a nice way to be like, really?
Right. I want to know this because I'm nosy. So you studied Da Vinci's Last Supper painting. I know this is so random, but this is so fascinating to me. And I want to hear what you discovered and broke down.
Okay, we should break
Sorry,
it down.
I'm so excited about
Yes,
this.
yes. Like hopefully they can show it. So I saw this painting when I was young, of course, and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. We love it. We're captivated by this painting. Like I'm always obsessed with historical, pop culture, things that we're all captivated by. Why are we captivated by this painting? It is the perfect balance of warmth and competence. And in the painting, the central figure, Christ, is showing the perfect balance of warmth and competence. Let's break it down.
Isn't he like
What
this?
is he doing? So he actually
His
is going like
hands
this. He has one hand up and one hand down.
One palm
So
showing.
a palm up is a warmth cue, right? We talked about this earlier. When you can see my palm, you know I'm not hiding anything. A palm down cue, we know famous people who have done that. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
But can you imagine historical figures who maybe have done that? Yeah, that's a authoritative cue. So like, for example, if I were to say, sit down, right? Like when that does not feel good.
No.
Right? We don't like it. Or when you're giving a command and you say, you know, like everyone pay attention.
Yes.
It's very commanding. So this is a perfect balance, literally in his gestures of warmth and competence. Then what is he doing? He has a head tilt. Head tilt is a universal warmth gesture. Why? When I say, do you hear that? We expose our ear. So it literally makes him look more empathetic, like he's listening. But also, if you measure every single body in the picture, he is taking up the most space in a picture.
Wow.
So the head tilt is balanced with a competence gesture, right? The more space we take up, it looks like he could be wearing a cape, right? His shoulders are down. He has the most space. Like every other photo, every other image, every other person is like, with their head, their distance is the smallest. So here, Da Vinci was subtly cueing us to, yes, he's powerful, but look, he's listening. Look, he has palms visible, but also he's very commanding and authoritative. You also will notice that Judas takes up the least amount of space and also has the most negative facial expression.
Wow.
And then notice the fists. The people who are the apostles that are making fists are also the ones that were known for withholding. Wow. So even
that's amazing.
In the painting, we see these subtle cues, which is why I think, one, we were captivated by the painting, but second, why Da Vinci was so created so many amazing works is he somehow subtly knew these things.
I'm trying to look at their feet.
Their feet. Yes. Christ's feet are pointed towards us, which what do we like the most? Then we feel like the most important person in the room.
I'm a geek when it comes to historical things. I really am. So whenever I'm hearing, like I'm watching a documentary about, I don't know, the pyramids or Egyptian etchings, or it's so fascinating. Like this Da Vinci painting.
Yeah.
How on earth is he so aware of all of these things that you have studied for decades?
Yeah, and with the help of many researchers.
Right.
Thousands and thousands
all
of
of our
researchers.
Technology and information, and it's wild.
Oh, girl, you text me when you see one in history because there are so many interesting ones. Like, I love dissecting like old speeches and like hidden cues in speeches, hidden cues in paintings. There are so many, but I think this is true because there's a universality to it. That painting is old,
right?
But somehow we were captivated by it. I even think like Mona Lisa, right? Like, why are we so captivated by Mona Lisa? Is because she's showing a little smirk, which makes her look better than us. And we're like, why does she feel better than us? That is mysterious to us.
It's crazy.
And so I think there's like a hidden language happening behind all of our interactions. And if we know how to read it, we all become more purposeful, and that benefits all of us.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to leave us with? I felt like you've left us with so many gems and jewels. And
I would say, like, let's go on a 30-day adventure together, right? Like, you can change a lot in 30 days. So 30 days, we are going to stick with the heck yes people. We're going to purge those ambivalent relationships. We're going to stop asking, what do you do? And we're going to start asking the good questions to get to level 2. Working on anything exciting. What are your goals? What are you learning? And the last one is find your flavor of charisma. What's your who, what, and where? Like, let's spend 30 days. Like, I'm ready to support.
The 30-day challenge.
Let's do it.
With Coco and Vanessa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.